Welcome friends in our Panasonic robot training how to use the teach pendant. This is the part 32 and today we discuss collision detect. It is a function to stop the robot motion instantaneously by means of our kinematics based collision detection. The robot simultaneously goes in flexibly controllable state flex mode to ease the impact of the collision, which as a result minimize damage to equipment. Note: this function is provided aiming to minimize the impact of a collision. It does not ensure the avoidance of damage to equipment. Danger: do not enter the safety fenced area while robot is in operation. This function is not a function that assures personal safety. Next is load parameter settings. Set the load parameters correctly. If the load parameters are not correctly set, the robot can wrongly detect collision, or the robot arm can be flipped up after collision. First, select a load parameter number from the list on the left pane and set parameters default. Press it to display the standard load setting dialog box lower left in the right figure. Collision sensitivity. Press it to set collision sensitivity setting range 0.0 to 100%, 100% for the most sensitive level. Second, set parameters and click OK. Note: setting the collision sensitivity higher does not only increase the collision detect sensitivity but also increase the flexibility of the flex mode after collision. Therefore, distortion of equipment caused by the collision can be relieved. Friends, you can see load parameter settings procedure in this image. Here you can see click set standard settings load parameters and further procedure of load parameter settings. Now next you can see a table for about load parameter numbers contains sensitivity, that means factory setting. First is standard load parameters 0%. Although the collision detect is effective, there is almost no flexibility. Second, standard load parameters with peripherals that are our standard torch and wire feeder RTUAFA 20%, RWBWTW 80%. Lower the sensitivity if a false detection occurs under the following conditions: crooked torch cable or torch cable contact. Start operation immediately without warming up in a cold temperature environment. In weaving operation, large values are set to frequency and width. In arc lift function, large values are set to the up, width and or lift down time. Singular orientation exists in the programmed movement. Load other than our standard equipment is installed to the robot. Correct the load parameters. 3.6. They are factory set to the load parameters of 1 or 2. If you want to increase the collision sensitivity, use one of the parameter numbers 3 to 6 according to the applied load and set load parameters correctly. Next is note: if the collision sensitivity is set higher than, it should be due to wrong load parameters or if it is failed to update the load setting in the program. Load command: when the mass at the tip of the robot is significantly changed due to opening closing operation of the creepers or so, the gravity compensation in flex mode may not work properly. As a result, the robot loses its gravity balance. Be aware that once robot loses its gravity balance, the robot may be continuously in motion even after passing the collision point. If the robot passes the collision point significantly, the error E7053 collision detect hold limit error occurs and the servo power is shut off. In cold climates, false collision detection may occur on the initial startup of the day. Although the ambient temperature gets warmer if the temperature inside the robot is low, the grease viscosity is high. The thick grease causes to put an extra load on the motor, resulting in false collision detection. If occurred, either execute warm up operation or decrease the sensitivity. Next is collision detect settings. After setting or changing the load parameters and collision sensitivity, check to make sure that the collision detect functions correctly in the program. To change the load parameter number, change the standard load number on the collision detect setting dialog box and click OK. Even if the standard load number on the screen has already shown the standard load number you want to change, to click OK to confirm the setting value. Collision is at safety holder input sets to valid if you want to detect a collision and apply the collision detect processing when the safety holder input is turned on. Servo mode after collision detect. Servo off after reducing the speed due to detection of a collision. The robot goes into the flex mode and then stops the servo motor in about 0.5 second. Hold. After reducing the speed due to detection of a collision, the robot comes to the hold state in flex mode. The standard load number specifies the load parameter number to be applied when the load command is not executed. When the load command is executed, the load parameter number specified last is applied. You can see all this procedure in this image. Collision detect. Collision is at safety holder input valid, invalid. Servo mode after collision detect. Servo off hold. Standard load number 2 displays warning dialog for the load parameter. OK, cancel. Note: for collision is at safety holder input, use the safety holder input prior to operation. Check to make sure the connection of the safety holder. Friends, here we end this part of our Panasonic robot training, and further information we will discuss in our next video.